Yeah,
Here we are.
delay. Okay, well, so obviously all these questions are I know the answer to pretty much. Well, actually, that's a lie. I don't, but a lot of them I could probably answer for you if you weren't there.
Yeah,
But
probably.
um, I also I because I know a lot of the things that you tell me, sometimes I switch off, so it's actually really nice to actually ask you questions and have to listen to the answer and actually understand what you're going to tell me and everyone else, obviously. Um, but yeah, so the main reason that we're here also is because, well, actually, the main reason is to get to know you, but you also have your Emergence series coming up, um, which you can say more about because you know more about it. But yeah, it's a really interesting series. I've done, I think, maybe 2 seasons. And it's a seasonal, it's a workshop, kind of online workshop, and it's about learning to, well, my interpretation of it is learning to flow with the seasons. And that means like just live your life more aligned to um, what is seasonal, and that doesn't just mean like what you eat or what you wear, but it also is how you treat yourself and then in turn treat others around you. So who are you?
Yes. Who
What's your
am
name?
I? My name is Abby Del Sol. That's the name I've given myself. I was always called Abby as a little child. In fact, my favorite t-shirt when I was 3 years old, which I lost in a stream because I was excited and I just took it off because we got to the water. I was so excited. I took it off. It had Abby stamped on it. So, and Del Sol was my mother's maiden name, which means of the sun, and it's beautiful. So, my birth surname is Brain, and I like Del Sol
A little
because
bit
it's
now.
beautiful. So that's me. That's Abby Del. That's not me. That's the name I carry. And I am a woman, a mother, a sister, a grandmother.
I
Uh,
am.
yeah, yeah. I'm a yoga teacher, sound practitioner and teacher. And yeah, I'm a human being or a
And
being that's trying to be human.
yeah, human being trying to being a human being.
Human being, yes, exactly, something like that.
Um, so that's your name. Your name's Abby Dassel, yoga teacher, practitioner, blah 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 blah. And
Those are the labels, yes.
yeah. Um, but what actually was the first thing that okay, I'm gonna ask you a really broad question, but then I'll get more into it. And what I want to know is what got you into sound healing to begin with. Um, but within that, when was the moment that you realized that it was what you had to do? So give a bit of backstory.
Well, a bit of a backstory. Okay, it's I'm 54 years old, so it's a very big backstory. I grew up connected to the land, off grid, completely off grid. My parents
Like,
moved to Patagonia with me, obviously, when I was 3 years old from London. So I grew up here. Um, and my reality was living off the land, living connected to the earth. My playground was were the orchards and the forests and the rivers. And at some point when I came to teenage times, okay, a bit deeper background. My father was an agriculturer and he was a potter as well. So he studied agriculture. His whole ethos was to live off the land, and that's pretty much what he came here to do. And my mother, when we arrived here, she was always interested in alternative, or I like to call them complementary therapies in the healing arts. And studied self-taught shiatsu, and different types of massage, Alexander technique. And she would help the locals. So the locals would call her to come when they were sick, and she would be the one that would say, I think you need to go to the doctor when that was necessary. But they wouldn't go without her advice. So I kind of grew up in that environment, completely connected with the land and very much influenced by this, nature being the healer and us being part of nature.
Mhm.
So when I was a teenager, I decided that was all nonsense and I wanted to live in a city and I wanted to wear high heels and makeup and, you know, be a proper person, because to me that wasn't proper. Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So I did. I went back to England and I studied and I worked in companies and I wore high heels and did
The thing.
the thing.
The
And at some
corporate girly
point,
thing. Mum was
when
a
you,
corporate girly before everyone. She was a corporate girly.
I was a corporate girly. A corporate girly, worked as a PA. That was the beginning. Then in recruitment, then in project management, and that was kind of towards the end. So really, when you were born, Maggie, was a turning point for me. I was 29. I was going through my Saturn return. Yeah.
Big time.
I think Saturn had a big influence there.
Oh yeah.
And there was something in me that clicked that was like this. I had a near death experience just after Maggie was born.
Mm.
And I thought, this, you know what, is perfect, but it's not. There's something missing. There's something that's not aligned. So my mum, who was always there watching and support and just, not telling me ever that I was wrong, but just being there for me always, knowing that I had to live my experience, said, oh, why don't you have your chart done? And so I had my chart reading and I had to send off the information and I had to wait for a couple of months to get it. And in the meantime, my sister, also younger sister, also said, oh, I found this course in England. I was living in Ireland at the time. We were living in Ireland at the time. I found this course in England and it's once a month and it's a soul retrieval course. And I asked her, well, what is that? And she said, well, I don't know, but it sounds fun and it's something we could do together.
Yeah. Nice.
so, so we did, and that was the beginning. So there was a lot there was a lot of journeying with drums. So this in some ways was kind of the first connection back to sound as a tool for healing, for self-discovery, for going inward. I loved it. The very first weekend, we sat in a circle and the facilitator started speaking and sharing and giving us kind of tasks and so on. And I suddenly realized, actually, I know all of this because it's nature spirituality. This is what it's called by
Mm.
many of the teachers. And this is how I grew up. I grew up connected to nature,
Yeah.
connected, understanding or believing in the spirits of nature and the seasons and these movements. It hadn't distilled in such a way yet at that point, but this was it. And then so I went through that course. Then the year later I did another one with the same group with my mum,
Yeah.
which was Awakening the Dream Body. And that was also very, very profound. And then we went to a summer gathering at a place called Gaunt's House in Dorset with my mum and my sister, and we were offering treatments. And Don Conroe, my first gong teacher, was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my sister and I were watching him in amazement because he would appear and then he would disappear and he would reappear and disappear. But anyway, on the last day, we went to a sound bath. So I'm not going to go too much into the details of that because that's another story. But we went to the sound bath. At the end of the sound bath, my mum said, "Oh, come, come." She had a health center, all complementary therapies, holistic health center here in Argentina. And she always invited teachers that she felt really had something really
Mhm.
important to share. So she went to Don, and Annabelle and I were kind of standing, keeping our distance behind her, but we were standing there with her. And she said,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's wonderful. You must come and give a workshop at my place in Argentina." So that was that. And a few months later, I got a phone call from Don saying, "Oh, I've been told you're the person to speak to about organizing a retreat in Argentina." And I was very official. I was working in
Yeah.
business, so I was
You're
very
the PA lady.
businessy, answered the call in a very businessy way, and hung up and phoned my mum immediately. I was, "Mum, what have you done? What am I going to do? I know nothing about all of this." She said, "That's okay. You can investigate, write something up about it. I will get the people for the workshop. Let's do it." And that was it. That was the beginning. So we did the first workshop ever in Argentina here at our center, Gong and Sound Healing Workshop at our center here in Bolson,
Hmm.
Casa Isis, House of Isis. And it was truly life-changing for me. And it was not only that first sound bath at Gong's house, or Gong bath at Gaunt's house, was a before and after, but really the workshop for me was a before and after. And then when I got back to England, because I was still living in England at the time, I got back to England. And a few months later, Don called me and said, "Oh, I wonder whether you would be willing to assist me in all of my work here in the UK, starting with the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, and then all the other things." And he would be going backwards and forwards from the UK to different spots in Europe.
Mm.
And that was it. So in some ways I didn't go looking for it, but seems to be the theme of my life, and I'm very much open and flow with that now, because it
Mm.
seems as though my soul searches and finds what I need or what is for me.
Mm.
And here I am, 21, 22 nearly years later. That was 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy still.
so long story, but that's the
To make
story.
a short story long.
Just
I'm kidding.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. To make a long fucking story short.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I'm looking at my notes, but you've kind of thrown me with that because I basically did not know that that was how it all happened. But
yeah.
see,
That's right.
sometimes I can't say everything for you.
You see, you see.
Sometimes I don't know everything,
Yeah,
actually.
actually,
Actually.
little Miss Capricorn rising.
So that's kind of crazy. How old were you when how old were you when this happened? Like 29? Or was it after I was born, or
No,
was
at
it like
that time I was
30?
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 30, 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And Casa Isis, the that place that is grandma's holistic healing
Yes,
center is still there,
it's
and
still here.
it was home to us while everything else was burning down last year.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was
So, and it was really interesting, wasn't it? Because you had been trying to sell, or well, it had been trying to be sold,
so
and
basically when Mum passed away, bless her soul, in 2008, Annabelle, my sister, and I
also
actually
2006.
bought the 2007 bought the my brother's shares of it, so it's still ours. So because
Yeah,
they weren't necessarily interested in continuing with
yeah,
that, but and we both were already kind of very much into the holistic therapies, so we took over the center. Yes, and that's right. And it was for sale because I'm in Europe. Annabelle had different things going on.
Mm.
And you can continue what you were going to say, the story.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it was for sale, and it just kept not getting sold, and it had been for sale for a few years, hadn't it? And or at least it had been being talked about for a very long time.
And it was rented
And
for seven
and it
years. Somebody was renting
yeah,
it.
and then when we were there in January last year, it wasn't for sale anymore, which
It
is
was, it
pretty
was. It wasn't
lucky
rented
because
anymore.
oh, it wasn't rented anymore. Oh, it wasn't rented anymore. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. But it was for sale still, but obviously nothing was happening, and it ended up being our refuge. I genuinely think that that was just. I mean, I don't understand why on earth you would have wanted to sell it anyway, but that's none of my business. But it was obviously the universe going, nope, you need this. You got to
Yeah,
keep this place
yeah,
sacred.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And now it's booming with activities. It's amazing. Mm,
that's really cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I noticed you said you're a holistic, not holistic, sorry, that's grandma. You're a sound practitioner,
Hmm.
and you didn't say sound healer. And I know
Well,
why, but tell me why.
well, the I don't do the healing. The healing is done by the person that's receiving.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's a word that's slightly misconstrued, so I prefer not to use it because I suppose technically that would be what I am. But in this modern society, we think we can go to somebody with our problems and they're
Mm.
going to fix it and take it away. And in actual fact, the holistic way, or in my opinion, the real way of healing is actually through recognizing the patterns, recognizing the breakdowns, recognizing where we our system is weak, and doing the work ourselves. And obviously, we do need the assistance of other people very often, most of the time. But it's the assistance of somebody else. It's not somebody else that is going to actually heal our body. Yes, maybe we need an intervention where we have an operation. But
Mm.
really, until we get to the bottom of and make life changes often and make yeah, change habits, change thought patterns, and so on. The healing is very difficult. The long-term healing is very
Mm.
difficult to achieve. And it also
Mm.
comes from the idea that, when we use the word healing, sometimes to me it rings like, oh, something's broken. Nothing is broken. There isn't anything broken. We are
Mm.
not broken to be fixed.
Yeah.
We simply sometimes need to put a little bit more attention in learning about ourselves.
Mm. I agree. I think there was like a moment that I had a realization where it's that feeling where you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that like you're well, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm constantly seeking perfection and wanting this to be this way and wanting everything to just be in its place at all times. But that's just not how life works, first of all, first and foremost. And secondly, just this like it's really hard to put into words, but I had this realization that there is no other shoe. It's not like your life life is a highway. And it
A
is
one-way
up and
highway.
down. Yeah, oh my god, motherfucker. And it's sorry. And it's like it's so rocky and so like up and down, and sometimes the views are incredible and sometimes there's loads of rain and sometimes it's like really boring and it's just a straight old road, and sometimes it's really exciting, and sometimes you get into a little accident and it's like, oh well, we're just gonna have to take a break here, and then sometimes you see someone else get into an accident and you're like, well, I'm glad I'm not him. And so I think I resonate with that as well, and I've always had that feeling about the word sound healing, and I think people do tend to gravitate towards others who are in positions of um, influence, I guess,
Hmm.
and kind of latch onto them, hoping that they'll fix their problems. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be like people of influence. It can just be people like just people. Like people do it with relationships. People do it with like addiction. People do it with anything where they just cling on to this thing that makes them feel like it's okay to not be okay, but they don't need that thing to feel like it's okay to not be okay. They just need to understand that it's okay to not be okay and not be okay with that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay to not be okay with feeling
Shit.
shit,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. And there's this struggle. I mean, the other one of my kind of pet words that kind of make me feel a little bit is the word spirituality, because
Mm.
it's kind of used as this,
Got connotations.
you're spiritual and I'm not kind of thing. And actually, every single one of us is a spiritual being. Even the flies that are flying around me at the
Attacking your
moment, they have
face.
spirit, they have life,
Really annoying spirits.
and it, for me, it comes very much from this: how connected are you to your cyclical nature, to nature itself as being cyclical, and how willing are you to one of my teachers always uses this, and I can't remember exactly whose words they were, but when it rains, let it, because you can't
Mm.
do anything about it. It's just, that's just the way that it is. And if you can do something about it, then do something about it. But there are
Mm.
certain things that you can't. And getting stressed about it is kind of, a waste of energy, really. Preoccupation
Mm.
is a waste of energy. You either occupy yourself or there's nothing to think about.
Mm.
Because if you can't do anything about it, then what are we talking
What is
about?
there to do?
What is
Yeah.
there to do? So, yeah, so back to this kind of, spirituality thing, it kind of really, the word mainstream, to me, the way it's used sometimes gives a sense, a little bit of separation, us and them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
It
almost
irks me a
like,
little bit.
yeah, like the bypassing, like this is better, I'm better because, you know, whatever it
Yeah.
is. And it's not like that. It's
Yeah.
really not like that. And I think this creates a lot of dysfunction also. And even those thought patterns within ourselves, the thought patterns that we have in that way of separation, of judgment, cause dysfunction within our own system.
Yeah. I also think that separation stops people from being able to connect to something that they might otherwise be able to connect with if they didn't have a preconception or an association of the word spiritual with woo woo or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
hippy dippy,
yeah.
because actually it's pretty substantial. Like it's grounded in some pretty solid, what they called, like foundations.
Foundations. Yes, yes, yes.
What are
Well, I
those things?
mean, the thing is, I feel you say you're absolutely right, grounded on some very solid foundations. If I was to say it, I would say it is grounded on one very simple, very solid foundation, which is being present.
Yeah.
being present in the moment of the breath, being present when it rains, being present when the sun shines, being present when there's a fire and you have to do something about it, and being
Mm.
present in the moment of rest, in every single aspect, in the driving to school to collect your kids, to drop them off, being going through that phase of life of being a taxi driver. Everything passes.
Yeah.
Everything will pass. Each breath is like a snowflake.
Mm.
No two breaths are the same. It's like each moment. No two moments are the same.
Yeah.
And so for me, this word is really a word that has been, you know, misused in some ways, just simply to mean being with spirit.
Yeah.
And being with spirit, we're all with spirit. We just forget sometimes and allow ourselves to be caught up just in the loop of the thoughts, the loop of the mind, which
Yeah,
is
man.
maybe not the reality that we're living or experiencing right now in this moment,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, if there's anything that those fires taught me, it was living in the moment.
in the present. Mm.
Gosh darn. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen,
Amen
mother.
to that.
Um,
Yeah.
well, I'm kind of stumped now because you've said everything that I've ever wanted to know, so
Really? Is that all? Come on. There must
yeah, I
be more.
know. Well, what's your favorite color
Oh, it varies.
at the moment?
I have phases. I have phases. At the moment, I seem to be very much drawn to kind of blues and greens
All right.
and
Yeah.
golds, and you can see, it's
Yeah, I
like,
know. I like your
yeah,
colors right now. They're very
thank
pretty.
you. Thank you. Yeah, but
Um,
green, nature, spring.
oh yeah. Springtime, nature, flowing with the seasons.
Emerging,
That's
emerging
part of
each moment.
that is part of the emerging thing as well though, isn't it? The colors with each.
Yeah, so the emergence, maybe I can
Talk about emergence a little bit, yeah.
share with you a little bit like how that came about. So, also many years ago, I did yoga teacher training, more than 15 years ago, and I did not have the intention to teach yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And very shortly after I finished the training, my teacher, Herman, said, "Oh, he was going to lead a training somewhere. Will you do my classes for a week?" I think it was 3 classes or 2 or whatever. And what? Me? I only wanted to do this to understand the philosophy, to kind of connect more with that side of things. It wasn't really to teach yoga. So he said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, don't worry. You can play the gong afterwards and they'll forget everything.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
fine." So that kind of became my trademark a little bit. The playing the gong after classes. That was the beginning of my yoga teaching. Didn't stop teaching since then.
Mm.
Also with the influence from Don, who had this idea of creating this kind of system called MEM yoga, muscle emotion meridian,
Yeah.
which was kind of drawing in wisdom from traditional Chinese medicine. And my
Mm.
mom did a Taoist massage, which is called Chinate Sang. She was a teacher of Chinate Sang here in South
Mm.
America. And so it made sense to me, this whole thing of, the organs, the emotions, but with this, it's correlated to the seasons. And somehow that really, really spoke to me. And as time went by and I was experiencing them and living them and feeling what was happening within myself,
Mm.
it became really clear that the offerings were much more powerful when they were aligned to the classes, basically the practices
Mm.
aligned to the season. So at different times of year, there are different. I mean, you just need to look out of the window and see what's happening at different times of the year. We are part of nature. When we leave this body, when this body stops functioning, we go back to the earth. We
Yeah.
become part of the earth. And mm, you could say there is an animal side of us which is very much influenced by the seasons. So whatever's happening in the seasons, and all of the um, ancient or traditional mm, systems of healing
Mm.
put a lot of focus on this. From Ayurveda, they look at the elements, but also, and at the doshas, but also this is correlated to the seasons. So at different times of year, there will be different aspects that are activated. And therefore, the chemistry in your body will be different. When you have
Mm.
more light, the chemistry in the body, your body will be different. When you have
Yeah.
less light, when the nights are longer, the cold, the warmth, all of these things, which are things that if we go back to the beginning, we didn't control. Nowadays, we're controlling them
Well,
with
trying to.
or trying to. But I
Yeah.
mean, even our own microenvironments, we are controlling. We build houses which will keep out the cold, which will keep out the heat. Um, we use gas to cook, and we keep our food for much longer than its natural shelf life because of electricity, because we have refrigerators.
Mm.
So, okay, this is where we are. This is what we're living right now, but it's also our bodies need whatever is available in the season.
Mm.
Um, So anyway, the emergence comes as many years of looking at all of these aspects, of the aspects of what nature is providing for us, what the different times of year invite our body to what different times, what state is promoted by different times of year.
Mm.
And it's a full year of teacher training, 200-hour teacher training for the full year. But
Mm.
it's also mini seasons. So this is an online program with each season. We really go into each season, what each season awakens in us,
Mhm.
what the best practices are in terms of the movement practice, the yoga
Mm.
practice, in terms of the asana practice, what we need to look out for in terms of how we feel. For example, I'm sitting in summer right now, you're sitting in winter.
Mm.
In summer, the solar energy is active, and it's the fire energy, and it's to do with the heart. And the heart in the traditional Chinese medicine is the great emperor of fire, and the emperor rules the whole of, the nation being this body and the
Mm.
circulation and so on and so forth. And what do we need to do to keep that balance? Because once we keep a balance, keep this to its optimal state, we're also keeping to an optimal state all of the chemistry in our body. And when we keep the chemistry in our body to an optimal state,
Mhm.
it allows us, it has an impact on our mental emotional state, which has an impact on our physical state, and vice versa. So, I mean, the
Yeah.
way I see it is a little bit like chicken and egg, but it's all there. And
Yeah.
aligning to the season really helps bring about any healing that's needed, and
Mm.
recognizing what our bodies need help us be in optimal state of health. So I've been incorporating this. So for example, in the winter, it's the kidneys, it's the water, all of the element of water. There's a color to each of them. So spring is green, summer's red, winter's dark blue. Um, and it's almost like the intention that we will have at each time will be different. You are in the time of recapitulation, or even beyond that recapitulation, in the time of stillness, in the time where the earth is resting
Mm.
to gather all the energy it needs, so that then in spring
Yeah.
it's alive and it's ready to manifest or to put into action all of these ideas and projects, and making the vegetable garden, creating, launching the new program, which I'm
Yeah.
launching in spring.
Yeah.
So what is within the emergence program? We have asana practice, we have mantra, we have qigong. So I've incorporated many different, am I boring you?
Yeah.
Many
Whatever,
different, many
man.
different systems, all of the ones that have been influenced and impacted me. Herbalism, what is growing, and ways to really connect to the earth and connect to the energy of each of the seasons, the meridians, how they work. And so there's a quite a bit of recorded classes, let's say. And then there's also bi-weekly Zoom question and answer, like talk. And then there's also a bi-weekly practice, which will be my general online yoga practice, which would be open to all of the people participating. So people can just take the one season, or you can take the whole year. The whole year, like I said, as a teacher, as a full teacher training.
Mhm. As in,
And
you could put that on if you're a yoga teacher, you could put that down as hours of training.
you can put that down as hours of training. If you want to become a yoga teacher, it's, I mean, let's say it's a living practice. So the whole
Yeah.
year is a living practice. It's not just about learning, which muscles are most active in what season, but it's really about going inward. There's, journaling, self-reflection, like all of those things that really is really going inward, as well as learning these new tools to offer to other people. And the
Yeah.
season itself, you can sign up just for one season. The season itself also has Yoga Alliance accredited hours. It's I can't remember exactly, between 40 and 50 hours. So
Yeah.
every 3 years you need 30 hours.
Mm.
This is more than that. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So exciting. And when
Yeah.
does it start?
It starts in March. On the 10th of March, we start. I've still got for both of them, for spring and for the full year. There's early bird discount until the 31st of January, so there's still a little bit of time for that.
Mhm.
And then the prices go up. I can't remember exactly by what percentage, but it's all on my abbydelsolyoga.com website. It's also in my bio.
Yeah.
There's I mean, there's also payment plans. So you can pay for the season, you can pay it in 4 slots. For the full year, you can pay in 6 slots. So it's accessible, and obviously I'm open to discussion for that
Mhm.
kind of, for those that need help and
Yeah.
really, really want to do it. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
Well, one of my burning questions is actually kind of cute, in my opinion.
Is what?
Kind of cute, in my opinion.
Okay.
But whenever you think of the word emerge or emergence, what visual image is like conjured up in your brain whenever you hear the word emerge.
You know, when, I mean, it might not mean anything to all of you listening, but you know, when you put the seeds in the earth in spring,
Yeah.
you've prepared the soil because you start it at the end of winter and you start preparing the soil, and you've got this beautiful brown patch of
Layer.
earth, and you put the seeds in. And you're watering it and you're taking care of it, and you go and have a look, and there's this little green thing. You can hardly, I have to put
Yeah.
my glasses on to see
Yeah.
it. That is emergence. That is emergence. And from that, nourishment grows, beauty grows.
Mm.
Yeah.
Breaking through the surface.
Breaking through the surface, becoming what you already are, because the seed is already that plant. It's got
Yeah.
all of the information, all of the memory.
That's
It's
so
all there
crazy.
within us.
Whenever you think about that, like, this is just me spiraling a little bit, but but the fact that a seed can turn into a whole vegetable is insane. Like, sit and think about that for 1 second. A little pip turns into your breakfast. That's crazy stuff. And
Actually, maybe
people
I'll
and all
just,
these like, sorry, go.
no, go on, go on.
I was gonna say all these like engineers trying to make back in the day trying to make like space food where you just had to wet it and it would turn into a giant meal. It's like that's what you do in the soil, duh.
You just have to wait a little
That
bit
already
longer.
happens. You just have to wait a little bit longer, just a
And
few
it's got
months.
all of the information and all of the
All of
memory
the
of the place that you're
information.
living, of the earth, of what you as part of nature needs
Yeah.
in that moment,
And also in that place, because even
in
like
that
I remember
place.
saying, when you planted some sweet corns that didn't do very well in Spain, but they were like a hybrid that your dad had made for that worked really well in Argentina, and it didn't do as well in Spain because that it was it had the information for the land in Argentina, not the
For the
information for the land in
climate,
Spain.
for the land, for the climate. And this is actually something that we often don't think about. I mean, I've been here for just for a week last
Yeah.
night, and it's taken me that long to actually feel, okay, my feet are on the ground now. I'm here. I can feel myself here,
Mm.
present. Each place is different. Each climate is different, and it's not one rule fits all.
Mm.
It's just whatever, wherever we are and the place that we are. This is mm, where we need to connect with, and this is what we need to look at. And each place will be different. The climate will be different. It will affect us in a different way.
Mm.
And so maybe you wonder, oh, well, okay, so but if you live here and you're creating this program based on where you live, in a way, yes. Some of the filming will be very much influenced by Marked Four Seasons, because this is what I grew up with. But
Mm.
actually, the invitation is to learn and investigate where you are and how that
Yeah.
works. Because actually, for me, going to Spain, to southern Spain, where we don't actually have a winter, was very interesting to get into this adaptation process of how does this work? How do I actually stop, because the cold isn't stopping me, but I
Yeah.
still need to go through that composting process, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just about learning that. I wonder if there's any questions, or maybe not. Maybe, we just
Just
answer
leave
all
the
the
floor
questions.
open for a little bit. Well, I mean, if any questions are burning on your minds, then obviously send them in. Um, but I'll just well, you can just tell us about like what else you have going on at the moment. For now.
Oh, okay.
Tell me
Yeah.
what you're doing stuff in Argentina, aren't you?
I'm doing stuff in Argentina. I launched also a program for, because, like we talked at the beginning, sound practices, sound healing has been the mainstream for many years, as you know, but as many of you probably already know, with my husband Tom, when we met in 2011, that kind of we both went to another level with the work, and we've been doing trainings for people with specifically sound healing
Mm.
for about 14 years. So I actually created a program for yoga teachers and therapists, which is a weekend program as like
Mm.
an introduction to sound healing practices to incorporate sound in your practice. So if you're teaching yoga, incorporating sound in Shavasana or in any other area, because also it's open to your own creativity. If you're doing
Mm.
massage, to incorporate a sound section at the end or at the beginning of your session. Reiki, working with crystals, any breath work, any kind of work, um, because it's so super powerful. It
Mm.
makes, Don used to say, and I've experimented that it's true, it will make any experience memorable.
Mm.
So anyway, so here in Argentina, I will be doing a weekend workshop 13, 14, and 15th of February, which is incorporating sound healing to your practice. I also have next weekend on Friday, the 16th, a little 2.5 hour introductory session to seasonal living, seasonal aligning practice with seasons, where I will just share a little bit about aligning your practice to the seasons, mainly summer, because this is what's being experienced here.
Mm.
And then followed by a restorative yoga class. I love restorative. It's beautiful. And summer, when we're all out there, it's really good to come in and to soothe the nervous system, especially with the experiences here at the moment with the fire. I think it would be very
Mm.
healing for people.
I agree.
And then I will be giving more classes while I'm here. Then when I get back to Spain, the emergence starts in March, so we'll be with that. And then we have beautiful women's workshop, Wild and Free, connecting you with your
Ooh.
wild woman, with Beata Eckert, who I've been working with for many years, offering workshops combining 5 rhythms, which she teaches, with sound, with singing, with yoga, with nature. We're going to do a mini vision quest and go to one of the local caves and sing in there, and just that will
Wow.
be in April, 16th to 20th of April. So that'll be a really nice. I'm looking forward to that. We do these workshops
Yeah.
because we enjoy doing the practices. So but I think that goes for all of the stuff that I do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's just because I love it and I love
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
Well, if you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. That's a lie.
Exactly, exactly. Actually, it's very interesting because when I was doing my certified training with Janet Stone, one of the questions was, where do you spend your time and what would you like to be doing with your time? And so I made all of these lists, 5 points of each. And then I was thinking, okay, but I haven't written work down anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I realized, okay, but most of this is my work. And it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like work because I love it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So this is really
Yeah.
nice chatting with you, Maggie.
Yeah,
We've got
no,
it's going to
thank
cut
you
us off,
too.
isn't it, in about four
Yeah, so we
minutes?
should probably stop it from doing that.
Yeah.
Well,